Hi, everybody. This is Jim Saffron with Pure Vintage Media, and welcome to our podcast interview. Recently, I spent some time with Rocky Athas, hailing from that great state of Texas. And Rocky's played with a lot of groups and artists through the years, including Black Oak, Arkansas, the rhythm section for Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble. He did a Tommy Bolin tribute album and tour with Glenn Hughes from Trapeze and Deep Purple fame. And he also spent 8 years as John Mayall's guitarist, touring the world and recording 4 albums. Now, we've all seen Eddie Van Halen and his double tapping technique. He's always given credit to Brian May as an influence, but who influenced Brian May? Stick around and you're going to find out. And now, Rocky Athas. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pure Vintage Media and our podcast interview today with Rocky Athas. Did I get that right, Rocky?
Athas.
Athas. See, I blew it already.
Yeah.
Nice to have you, and we're just going to call him Rocky because I'm just really bad with that kind of stuff. I have name so that people mess up all the time. So, welcome, Rocky. And you're in. Now, are you in Oak Cliff? Is that where you are today?
Well, that's where I was born and raised and lived there till 20 years ago. And now I live in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, okay. Beautiful town. Wow. So many questions I've got for you. What was it like growing up in Oak Cliff? Was that was it a musical mecca? I know that one of your friends growing up was Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, he was a very good friend. We used to talk on the phone all the time, especially in the 8th grade when he would call or I would call him. I mean, we just had so much to talk about because not everyone was playing guitar then, like today, it seems.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah. And so we used to bounce ideas off and show each other, swap licks or leads, trying to, just get better at it. And it was a great place to be brought up because I obviously in high school, I started hanging out with all the other musicians. And once you meet everybody, it becomes a really nice, and we used to have this thing that we used to just call, hey, let's get together and jam over at so-and-so's house today.
Right.
And their parents are gone, so we can turn it up. And what we do is play blues progressions like slow blues, shuffles, things like that. And we'd take turns playing a lead. Okay, you take one. Okay, now you play rhythm and I'll take the lead. And we did it for hours.
Yeah.
And then if somebody did something cool, you'd stop. What'd you just do there? Oh man, these are pull-offs. Diddly, 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 It was a lot of fun and learning it. We all shared.
Were you able to record any of that or just?
Oh, I wish I would have, but back then, I mean, you had to have some kind of big machine or maybe a tape recorder, but no, I don't have any.
That's interesting. Now, was his big brother hanging around, or do you think you guys were a nuisance at the time?
Well, my big brother taught me how to play guitar.
No, I meant Jimmy's.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, a couple of times he was. But most of the time, not really around the house a lot. When I'd go over to Steve's house, he would always usually be there by himself, and I'd borrow my brother's car and go to jam sessions with him and stuff. It was really so much fun back then, because the newness of it all was just magic.
Yeah.
I hope young players today have the same vibe that we did, where it just was still magical.
What year would that have been around?
It would have been around 68.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was in the 8th grade. And so was, Steve he jumped a year ahead of me. He was in the ninth grade. But I mean, we were only like 2 weeks apart in our birthdays. So my mom held me back for some reason. I don't know what that was all about, but
She probably had her reasons. My mom did as well. Now, is that the same suburb that Jimmy Wallace grew up in?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Jimmie Wallace, still one of my great friends. I
great guy.
still hang out with him. Um, we will always remain tight.
Yeah, I'm going to jump and just interrupt all these questions just to tell you, I tell everybody this. Now I live in Charlotte. I grew up in Los Angeles, so I've seen and lived in areas that had music scenes. But until I started going to his show, I had never seen a scene like the Texas music scene. It's intoxicating. The way you guys mentor younger players, the egos are left at the door. And what I really like is you never know who's going to be backing a headliner. So when I was
Yes.
going through some of your videos, there you are with Van Wilkes trading licks on, what was the song? It was Jimmy Rogers' song, Walking by Myself. I
Yeah.
love that performance, man. You could just tell a mutual admiration
You
between
know,
the two of you.
we didn't know what we were going to play.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And Jimmy got up. Jimmy came and asked me, can Van sit in with you? I said, heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Bring him up. And we never discussed the song. So right there on stage, we went, what do you want to play?
You
So
would never know that, and the fact that you're vocalist, and he was never on camera. So who was that sang?
that's my
Because
drummer.
okay, that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, somebody, I think they filmed it with a telephone or something,
Yeah,
and they were kind of focused on me and Van more than, the other
yeah,
folks.
yeah. People want to see guitar players. Are you planning on playing this next year, 2026?
I should be. Yeah, I believe so.
Because my biggest regret was I was there with a booth, promoting our website, but I hired somebody to run the website so I could shoot video the whole time. And I'm trying to sync up the three stages, and I missed your performance. And I vowed if he's there in 2026, I'm going to make sure I catch your whole performance. So my apologies. I wish I would have done that. It's just a great. I've stopped going to guitar shows because it's like Antique Roadshow, where Jimmy's is so much fun. I have such a great time, and I already start planning the next year by the time I've gotten back. He's one of the dealers on purevintage.com. He was one of my first. He's been a loyal dealer and a customer, and gosh, I just love coming to the show. Anyway, all that's I just had to get that in. So your first real band was the Lightning Band, is that correct?
Yeah, that.
How old were you and how did that form?
Well, we were all playing in local bands, um, but I didn't want to do copy music solely because my brother always told me, man, the only way you'll get anywhere is if you write your own music. And it's like, well, how do you do that?
Yeah,
And
easier said than done.
yeah, so I started a band and we decided to call it Lightning. And our big thing was we're all original, except for maybe 3 songs. And that's kind of what got me started on writing songs. It also, we ended up getting a really, really decent following, and so that happened from the time I was like 19 to 29, maybe.
Mm,
That
wow.
sounds about right. And then I went to Black Oak, Arkansas.
Yeah,
And
how did that happen?
well, as it goes, It's just like the same thing with John Mayall, same thing with Buddy Miles.
Yeah.
And well, eventually with Double Trouble. But we were on the same show. And at the end of the show, they wanted to ask me if I would like to join them. And I didn't know much about Black Oak, Arkansas. Not really.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily the music that I went to first, but they were such great people in that band. And I got them to do a couple of blues on the last Greatest Hits album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote those two songs, and it was a lot of fun playing with Jim and Johnny Bolin. That's where I met Johnny Bolin.
Tommy's brother.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah, the Black Oak, Arkansas, they were a great stage act. I not my kind of music either, and Jim was a little out front there, but still, you walked away and you go, okay, they put everything into that show.
Yeah.
I usually saw them as a not a headliner, but backing up some other band that I had gone to see. So you kind of went back and forth with them. You played with them, then you left, and then this Greatest Hits album you participated in. Did you tour?
I did. When I came back the second time, we got signed to Cleopatra Records, and they wanted us to put out a Greatest Hits remakes of the originals, except for about 4 new songs. And I had written 2 of those. So it was fun. I loved Jim. Jim was a great guy, the singer.
Oh, yeah.
It was great playing with Jim.
Is he still around, or did he pass away?
No, he's still around, and he's still playing.
Is he still playing? I saw a video of one of his, it must have been a later song, and no, it wasn't. It was actually an early one where it's kind of, I don't know the right word to use, sexy. He's dating a good-looking woman, and it's kind of weird. She ends up becoming his chauffeur. I couldn't quite follow the theme of the story, but yeah, one of those. And he reminded me a little bit of a WWE wrestler for some reason. I don't know why.
It was all about theatrics. It was all about, well, really, it's just an entertainment.
Yeah.
And with Jim, he developed a character. You can either like that guy or you may not. But I like the idea that he had that direction and he still got that.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Now, whether you can work with that or not is a whole nother thing.
Kind of up and down in the relationship occasionally?
With Jim?
Yeah.
No, not really. It's just that I got a better offer to go play with Glenn Hughes.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you about that. So before I do, I noticed that you were at a very early age, and I didn't know about this magazine until I started coming to Dallas for the show, the Buddy magazine.
Yeah, Buddy.
Yeah, and you were noted as one of the up and comers in the list of other guitar players that had been noted by that magazine. It's like a who's who, and so that must have been quite a tribute to you, and probably trying to keep your ego in check at the same time. But that was very, very nice.
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere. Just saw it show up in press, and I went, well, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's not like you had an agent pushing them to do it. Yeah, those days, we didn't do things like that back in those days.
That's right.
Then you met up with the man from Electric Flag, Buddy Miles. Tell me about that. How did just...
Well, that was, I loved Buddy.
Yeah.
When we did the album together, Buddy said he'd like to have Double Trouble be the rhythm track, and Buddy just wanted to sing. And the truth of it was, Buddy wasn't in the greatest of health during those days, and Buddy could play drums powerful.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe 4 songs, and then he didn't want to he wanted Chris Layton, so it worked
Yeah.
out real well. We had that album called Bluesberries.
Yeah. Very nice album.
Oh, thank you.
I really like it. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to beat that rhythm section, Double Trouble.
Oh man, you're not kidding. That was fantastic.
They were
But
good.
but we put the album out with Roof Records out of Germany, and then at the right while we were getting ready to tour, we'd already done dates as the Bluesberries. It was unfortunate, but Buddy had a major stroke
Yeah.
walking to his car. And he, then right after that, not too long, he died. So we couldn't go out and support the album.
Were you with him that day?
Well, I had talked to him
Yeah.
the night before that happened. So it was a little weird, because you didn't think that kind of stuff was going to happen, but it did. So
we were all so much younger then, and as you and I were talking, you get a little older, and it seems to be happening every day.
yeah,
It does two things. It makes you realize your own mortality, and it makes you want to take better care of yourself, which
yeah.
I've really tried to do now over the last couple of years. Let's talk about the Tommy Bolin tribute. Glenn Hughes. Like I said, I grew up in Los Angeles, and believe it or not, way back in 76 to 78, I talked my poor mother into co-signing a loan for $10,000 worth of video gear. Believe it or not, I had the backpack, I had the camera like a newsman, and I used to go to all these clubs. And somebody that I grew up with, Kevin Dubrow, was a great photographer at the time. And he comes by my house one day and he says, these guys want me to be in a rock and roll band with them. They want me to sing. And I said, you don't know how to sing. Took great pictures. That turned out to be Quiet Riot. And it was Randy Rhoads who asked him to join.
Oh, that's
And
probably pretty valuable.
yeah, I've got I had hours and hours of tapes of them. And I've been left with, it's a long story, but it got bulk erased at the time. I've got a 14-minute segment of them at the Whiskey, which is, I'll share it with you when I get a chance.
All
But
right.
the only reason I bring that up is Kevin became very good friends with Glenn before, in the later years, became very good friends. And so you did this tribute to one of my favorite guitar players of all time, Tommy Bolin, not a classically trained musician, just had the feel. I was listening to, I think the album was Spectrum by Billy Cobham, which
Yeah,
he's on. And my God, it's my favorite guitar players are the guys that it sounds like the guitar is running away from them. And the notes that they hit kind of like are just trying to control the guitar. And that's what I get from that album. But tell me about that. You were close to his brother who was a drummer in Black Oak, right?
correct. And then Johnny being he became my drummer
Hmm.
because we both kind of quit Black Oak, Arkansas at the same time back then. And my first album, the one called Miracle, uh, that's definitely Johnny Bolin on drums every track. And Johnny, boy, I loved that guy. I was so sad when he died.
Yeah,
Such a bummer.
yeah. Um,
But
I got
that's how I met Johnny Bolin, was because of Black Oak, Arkansas. And from there, we decided to do that project with Glenn.
yeah.
Oh boy, everybody was mad at us.
I know. I'm trying. I read that and I don't remember that, and I was trying to figure out what the issue was. I guess they felt that he didn't pay tribute to Tommy in the best way. I don't know. I don't even know. The whole personality thing. Did they feud? Did they not? Who cares? People buried the hatchet. sometimes they do it in time before the one passes, but that's all just, gossipy stuff. That doesn't it doesn't reflect on I think the performance. Did you guys tour? Did you just make the album? How did
Yeah,
that
we
all?
toured. As a matter of fact, we did a lot. Well, we had it recorded just about every place we played, but the one that we ended up using was from the Bluebird Theater in Denver, Colorado.
Right, I listened to that. Yeah.
And that became the live album.
Okay.
Uh, with Glenn. And wow, he's such a great singer.
Yeah. Strong personality.
Completely. And actually, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he laughs a lot, and just enjoys being with the guys.
I'm trying to remember the tree. He was in a trio, Trapeze.
Trapeze.
Yeah, he played in Trapeze. I love that band.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Or how Glenn says it, he calls them trapeze.
Yeah. But then he went on like Tommy to Deep Purple, and I was always a huge Deep Purple fan, but the band changed so many times. I lost track of who the personnel was. But yeah, he's had an interesting history. The one I really want to ask you about, though, is one of my all-time favorites, the godfather of British blues. Uh, you stepped into the shoes of Buddy Whittington after he left, and John Mayall. I can't tell you how many times I saw him live. Plus, I had a friend that lived up in Laurel Canyon down the street from him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to drive this big long stretch Dodge van. If you can imagine trying to navigate those streets up there, and I'd always have to turn around where his house was, and to see one of my heroes watering his lawn all the time. I'm like, "Hi, John. Hey, how's it going?" It was just when you grow up in an industry town, that's just what happens. And the industry in LA was entertainment. So you'd
Yeah.
run into people and you tried not to be too cool, or you tried to be cool and not be like starstruck. But I used to see him all the time. And what a fabulous, I don't know anybody that has a bad word to say about John Mayall. One of the first albums I ever bought was a live album at a place called Kluk's Cleek, and it was
Yeah.
in Britain. I think it was his first album, but just a wonderful individual. How did that come about?
Man, it's really weird. He had, from what I was told by John, I got my cat.
That's all right.
Say hello to my little kitty.
Hello. What's her name?
This is Short Stuff. She's one of the little midget cats. So
Don't
we
you
called
love
her
her?
Short Stuff.
Yeah, an animal lover, I get more, as I get older, I'm more and more of an animal lover. I tear up when I see those videos online where the guy's at the shelter and all that. Oh my God, I
Oh
can't
my
stand it.
gosh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed you were in some of the posts that you have on Facebook. I noticed you've got kind of the same sensibility, so to
Oh
speak.
man. Well, I had a Cocker Spaniel, and after she died, I decided maybe I'll, not get another dog right now. But I still love cats, and I mean, I love
Yeah.
those. I love cats.
Yeah.
They're
And
just
they'll
cool.
love you. They'll love you occasionally.
Yeah, right when they're in the mood.
Right. Otherwise, don't bother me. Get out of here. Unless you
Yeah,
got food. Yeah.
not now.
Yeah. So tell me about John Mayall. How did you meet him?
Well,
And that was a long relationship, was it not?
yeah, I played with John over 8 years,
Man.
and we did one, two, three. We did 4 albums together, and also a live video in London at the what was the name of that tent? Live in London. I actually forgot the name of the venue, but yeah, that album came out. It was a double release album plus it was a live video. And Leicester Square, that was the name of it. See, if I don't think about it, I'll get it.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
but anyway, what had happened was my band opened up for John Mayall at the Bronco Bowl. And he stood side stage and watched me the whole time. And about almost a year later, I got a call and he was in Europe. And when he contacted me, he contacted my website. And my webmaster, he contacted me and said, "Man, there's some guy saying he's John Mayall and he'd like to talk to you." He said, "Is that the John Mayall?" I said, "Well, we can't take any chances." Tell him, absolutely, give him my number. Okay, I'll do it, Well, later on, he called and asked me if I'd like to join and go tour with him and do albums, the whole thing. And I went, "Oh, absolutely, John. It'd be a lot of fun." And I really did enjoy that. I thought it was great. He really is a nice guy. And it was fun playing with John.
Yeah, Laurel Canyon Blues, you name it. What's interesting is if you go back, and I can't remember the year it came out, but it was in the 70s. He did an album, I think, called Back to the Roots, double album where all these old players came and played with him on the album. So Mick Taylor, Eric Clapton. I can't remember if Peter Green was on that album or not, but to play in his band, following in the footsteps of all those guys, what a tribute to you, man. He had an eye. He's one of those guys that had an eye for talent, and he just everybody that played with him was excellent. And wow, that had to be a highlight of your career.
Oh, I loved it. Plus, I met a lot of cool people.
Yeah. Well, he played on some of your solo albums, did he
Oh
not?
yeah, he did. Been on two of them so far.
Yeah,
And my latest album, "Living My Best Life,"
I
John
love
did.
that album. Yeah,
Yeah, he did a guest spot with me and played harmonica. It's the best harmonica solo I think I've ever heard. And
yeah.
he did it in one take.
He had a long career until he passed recently, and it just broke my heart. It's one of those ones you just say, God, the memories, just so many memories. I saw him with he did that song "Room to Move,"
Yeah,
Mark Almond,
yeah.
at the Hollywood Bowl. I saw him, and just a magical night. You love those things. You never forget them.
Yeah, it was actually great playing with John. Um, it really really was. Actually, when he called me, it was out of the blue, and I saw a thing on my telephone that said unavailable. And I usually don't answer those, but then I went,
Yeah.
well, you never know. So I went ahead and answered it. And it was a guy on the other end saying, "Hello, Rocky. This is John Mayall." And I thought it was a buddy of mine doing his disguised voice. I said, "Oh, Brian, shut up."
Oh, nice.
And he goes, "Excuse me, this is John Mayall." I went, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, that happens a lot, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah, it kind of broke
You don't
the
think
ice.
somebody of that stature is calling you, and it's like, why are you calling me? Wonderful.
Yeah, it
And
was
so, did you
cool.
go to did you go to Europe immediately? And
Oh, man, yeah. First I went to LA and I'd only been with him about a couple of weeks, and we started recording the new album in LA. And then from there, we went on tour. I probably went to Europe 10, 15 times.
man, yeah, he loved L.A. though.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was his adopted home, and he became quite a fixture there, especially in Laurel Canyon area, that country store, and you'd see him everywhere, just tooling around. He had no airs about him. He was very humble man, and and never bragged, never wore it on his shirt sleeve. It just,
Well,
I
pretty
love
much a
those.
normal guy. He really
Very normal.
just, loves movies and books.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was great joy playing with John.
Um, okay, so now you also played with Smokin' Joe Kubik.
Yeah, I've just been friends with Joe. Well, at that point, it was about the mid 70s that I met him, and we became friends way back then.
Yeah.
And I just eventually called him and said, "Man, you want to do a guest spot with me on my record, my CD?" And he said, "Absolutely, man." So that's why we used to play together all the time as far as guest spots,
Yeah.
but we didn't actually play in a band together, but we were hanging buddies. We used to, you know, hang out with each other, go check out new gear, that kind of thing.
Sure. Um, I didn't know this story until recently, so I laugh because I've seen really guys from the 30s kind of doing the same thing, the double tapping. But tell the story about Brian May, and which is really interesting to hear that Eddie Van Halen was influenced by Brian May, who was influenced by you. How did
Yeah.
that happen? Because
Oh man,
and I
that
don't
was
see when I look at some of the videos, the recent videos, it's almost like been there, done that. You don't really do that.
well, that
Uh,
was kind of the thing. I mean,
yeah,
when I first discovered how to do it and how cool it was, I kind of overdid it.
yeah,
Then I went back to just playing, um, because then the leads all start sounding alike,
yeah.
where you're doing that same
That,
thing.
that
Oh,
that's where people at a concert go to the bathroom and have a beer on the extended 20-minute solos, which
yeah,
I've yeah, especially the drum solos. I've never really been into that, but that says a lot about you that you didn't like. This is my signature thing, but he actually, I guess the quote is he nicked it from you, seeing you in Dallas
yeah,
or
that
somewhere.
is the quote. I finally got to talk to him. Uh,
Nice.
we contacted each other after, I think it was Guitar World put out that article where the mystery man was Rocky Athas.
Yeah.
And so he contacted Guitar World and said, I would really love to talk to Rocky. So we contacted each other and spoke for several different days where, he explained everything and I remembered it totally.
Yeah.
He had walked up to me and I knew that Thin Lizzy was in the house.
Love that.
Yeah. And because they were on tour together. But uh, Brian May he came up and started saying, "Man, what were those tricks you were doing?" And I said, "Oh, it's just something I picked up from Billy Gibbons," which was really the truth. I had seen Billy Gibbons do one note that way,
Yeah.
and it stuck with me. And I went, "Man, I got to figure this out." So, I started woodshedding and I went, "Oh, man, that's cool."
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, I'd like to nick that from you." I said, "Well, go for it, man." And next thing
Yeah.
you know, on that album, he had it on there on that one tune. And
He,
I thought
he
that
was
was
one of,
pretty cool.
it's very cool. He's one of those guitar players that I was describing previously. Sounds like the guitar wants to run away from him and he just kind of pulls it back with the subtle notes. And I love that effect. There's only a few guitarists that I've seen do that. He's one of them.
Yeah. And, you can't, uh, the cool thing about Brian May, first of all, he's a very nice guy,
Yeah.
but he plays so melodic.
Yes.
His note selections are just perfect for each song that he approaches.
And it seems like so many, and you're to me, you're the same way. The melody never gets lost, and especially that live performance. I just loved. I've played that so many times since I contacted you to do this interview with you and Van. It was just great. I shot video of Van at the last show. It was raining, and they had to move that day. I think it was Friday or Saturday. They had to move it inside,
To
and
the
of
echo
course,
chamber.
yeah, and of course, hell of a time for me to have a an equipment breakdown. And
Oh,
yeah, so I lost all his footage. He's another one I've got to make it up to him this next time. The yeah, Brian May, I loved him because the melody was always played through the solo, and so many guitar players want to do the speed typing thing, and it's boring. It just
well,
running through scales up and down the neck. It doesn't do anything for me.
it's just, I just never wanted my guitar playing to sound like it was an athletic event, just
Right.
because you sat down in the bedroom and you learned how to go. Well, you don't
Yeah.
do that on a beautiful written song that's slow.
Right. And it really is it's about the tone and it's about the songwriting. And
Yeah, you
I'm
have
glad.
to get into the song. You have to get inside the song.
Yeah.
And that's what this lead calls for is this, whatever it may be.
It's a subset. It's not my favorite groups are that, and this is really, I've gotten into this discussion. I met the guitar player from Gentle Giant. Probably never heard of them.
No, I know
Progressive.
Gentle Giant real well.
Okay.
I knew
Love
Derek
that.
Shulman.
Oh yeah, great guy. I interviewed him as well. And I told them, both of them, Gary Green and him, and Gary Green's a fabulous blues player, which you would think, how did that fit with Gentle Giant? But he really was a modifying factor in that group. And he first off, he said we were talking about Rory Gallagher, and he was just over the top, just raving about what a great guitar player Rory was. And I told him a story that uh, Rory was hand select when Muddy Waters went to England to play with all these rock guitar players. He did a session, and he demanded that Rory Gallagher be included. Of course, Keith Richards was there, Eric Clapton, but he said, absolutely, I want Rory Gallagher there, and it's some of the best music on there. And I told Gary Green that, and he said, Muddy Waters was the man. He just, there was nobody better. But yeah, Derek's a great guy also.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that you knew them, but they were my all-time favorite group because they played as an ensemble. None of them got up there and played long solos. They played so tight together, tight as a wet knot. There was nobody like them. So when you compare them to like Genesis and Yes and King Crimson, there was always one member of that band that stepped out in front and became kind of the lead. And then it was him and his band, John Anderson and Yes.
Yeah.
But it was never like that with Gentle Giant. And they were, if you hear the early stuff that they did as a different group called Simon Dupree, which was kind of popish music, and then the first album of Gentle Giant, I was working at a record store in LA and I just said, who are these guys?
Yeah, man.
I'd never heard anything like that.
Me and my brother used to love those guys. I never missed them. As a matter of fact, I did a couple dates with them, which I
Did
was
you?
real excited about it. Um, but you know, they were the tightest band I've ever seen.
Brother, I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Oh,
They
it just blew your
and
mind.
nice, yeah, and really nice guys. No airs about them. Gary, actually, the guitar player, lives now in a small suburb of Illinois,
Oh yeah,
south of Chicago. And I said, "How did you end up here?" He married a woman from that town, and they even gave him a gold record, or I'm sorry, a gold record on the sidewalk, like you do in Hollywood, as
yeah.
a celebrity. of that town, adopted son. He's been there 40 years, and but nicest guy and just a wealth of information about music. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack us,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
to
But
hear that you love Gentle Giant, brother, I'm right there with you.
I have
Um,
every one of their CDs.
oh man,
You
that
know,
is
I
a
mean, I really, really love those guys.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's see, and I find Gentle Giant fans everywhere. It doesn't matter what type of music you play. But Gary Green was a really good blues player and not really well known. And he doesn't care. He's just a humble guy. And
Yeah, you know, it's so funny because I was I loved his guitar. I don't know if
yeah,
you remember much about it. He had that 59 completely tiger stripe
Les
Les
Paul.
Paul.
Yeah,
And I said, "Oh, I'd love to have one of those." He goes, "Well, if some fool wants to pay $1,600 for it, I'll sell it to him." And I kind of went, "Well, I'd like to be that fool."
yeah. I tracked that down and told him in the interview. I said, I know where your guitar is. And he goes, oh, really? And you would think he'd go, gosh, I'd love to get that back. But he's moved on. He plays and he raves about playing a $500 guitar. And he goes, it's about the tone, and this one plays as well as anything else. Very humble guy. But yeah, that was a neat guitar. It didn't have quite the history of Peter Green's.
No, but
But
it was a heck of a lot cooler looking.
yeah. They really I saw them I don't mean to keep talking about, but since you're a fan, I saw them do three of four sold out shows at the Whiskey, where I used to be a whiskey rat, in high school, and I tell my mom I'm going to the Whiskey, and she'd go, "No, you're not. It's a school night." And I said, "Sorry, Mom. Gentle Giant's playing. I'm going." And I got there, and there's a picture online that you can find where the line is around the corner, and that comes on the heels of them playing a disastrous concert with Black Sabbath as the headliner, and Captain Beyond, I think. And people were throwing cherry bombs at him on the stage. That's all online, by the way. And Derek and his brother Phil kind of lost it and started chewing out the audience, which you don't really want to do when you're playing. But it was rude behavior, and that was another memorable night seeing them. But yeah, great. I'll stop right now with the superlatives. Great group, and I'm glad to hear that you were a
I'm
fan
right
also.
there with you, brother.
I play their music all the time. All right. Okay, so we talked about Brian May. You really have you played at the Dallas Guitar Show year after year after year? I only started going about three
Well, I
years ago.
didn't play at all there for about a decade because I was out on tour with John Mayall most of the time. Um, but I'd say the last 8 years, I've probably played there every time.
Yeah. God, I love
It's a
that
year,
experience.
you count on that show.
It's May is always on the calendar. I'm already talking to my partner. We got to do this again.
Yeah, yeah.
It was nice. I've shot video 3 years in a row. If you go to our YouTube channel, Pure Vintage Media, you'll see just a ton of great acts. Um, Even in Allie, can't remember her last name. Great little guitar player. She played with Buddy Guy on a song, Texas, Louisiana. Allie
Oh, volleyball or something like that. Or
Venable. That's right, Allie
yeah,
Venable. Thanks. We're really old guys, aren't we?
yeah,
And that was an example. I just love how she started playing when she was really young at that thing. And there's just this mentoring thing going on. You guys all love each other. You go to the bar at the hotel after the show, and everybody's down there telling war stories. It's just I can't tell you how much fun that is.
yeah,
And
man.
I've been able to meet some really wonderful musicians. Again, there's no egos. It's everybody's on an equal playing field, and I don't know how Jimmy puts it all together. I asked him, I said to him, "Hey, I'd like to do the same thing in Charlotte. We haven't had a really good guitar show recently." And his response was, I loved it because changed my mind. He said, well, why the hell would you want to do that? Knowing, then I understood what he was saying. It's a pain in the ass. The very next day, he's already planning it for the next year. It takes that much work. But a great show. Anybody listening, if you're in the Dallas area or you want to get on a plane, you will not be disappointed. The talent that he brings together on those three stages nonstop is just amazing. Had you ever played with Red Volker?
I've played on the shows with him,
Okay.
but I don't really know him.
Yeah.
And
He's
I know
he's
he's awfully good.
yeah. He just he plays in Charlotte every once in a while, and he could pretty much sell out a medium-sized venue just on his reputation. Grammy award-winning artist, and
Yeah.
but he plays at a little dive bar that I go to called the Thirsty Beaver, and there's a tip jar at the floor. He has the same couple of musicians, so it's a three-piece that he plays with all the time, and very humble guy, also great guitar player.
Oh man,
Uh,
I love to watch him play.
yeah, I didn't know whether you did the masters of the tele. You play a Les Paul, right? I don't know that it really matters. Do you have a
Most of
tele?
the time, but I do play Telecasters and Strats,
Okay,
depending on
so
the song.
yeah, right. But he always brings great talent up there. I met Andy Wood there, who's an up and comer, just great guitar player. Greg Koch, of course, crazy. Yeah, I'm already thinking about May. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's good to hear. If you're going to be there in 2026, definitely we'll catch and archive your show. Okay.
Well, good, because I'll be
I make
looking
you that
for you.
promise. Oh, brother, I'll do it. Boy, you've really been generous. Is there anything you want to add? I think I've gone through your entire history. What do you have another album coming out, or are you just playing
Well,
live?
we are just getting ready to start with a new album, and but the thing is it's so new in our head. We don't have a direction yet.
And who's in your band for this one?
Walter Watson, the guy who you heard sing,
Yeah,
he's the lead singer, drummer.
which isn't easy.
Yeah, thank you. And my son is the bass player, Rocky Athas too.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I mean, he turned out to be a great bass player. I love playing
Now,
with him.
was he on that song with you and Van?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll have to
yeah,
go back. Again, the camera was on the two of you. It didn't really like say who's
yeah.
singing. Come on. Um, I like to when I set up my gear. I'm not one to do the jump shots and moving all around. I like the effect, and part of it's I don't want to buy a bunch of gear, but I like just setting the camera up as if you're sitting in the audience watching a concert. I just find
Right.
that's a much better way to do it. I'm not into the MTV moving all around and
Well,
jump.
yeah, it's less hectic.
Yeah, it's easier on me.
There,
But I usually get a
that
pretty
too.
good yeah, I usually get a pretty good sound recording right from the board, and then we match it up to the video, and it comes out looking pretty good.
That's
Um,
cool.
by the way, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, I hope you join. You'll see a lot of stuff from Jimmy's shows on there.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I'll send you the link when I get a chance.
All right.
Man, you I guess I'll leave you with this one thought. Is there anybody that you've seen recently, younger players that you really like?
Well,
Not to put you on the spot, but that Texas music
there's
scene.
so many I see on Instagram. Even
Yeah,
there's, I mean, I really dig Philip Sacey.
yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah,
Philip is, and he's a nice guy. Uh, he knew who I was, and of course, I knew who he was. So it was kind of cool because we gelled right off the bat. But I think right now, for me, it's Philip Sacey, because he plays with such energy. Energy is really important to have, and he has a lot of it.
Is he from Texas?
No, he's out in LA.
in LA. Okay. I know the name. I'm not sure I'm real familiar with the music, so I'll have to take a look at that based on your
Yeah, his
recommendation.
name is Philip Sayce, Sayc.
CE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hang around any of those when you were in LA? Were you hanging around any of those clubs? The Whiskey, the Starwood? Did you
Well, I
go?
played the Whiskey with John.
Yeah.
That place was packed.
It is the stage is small and it's not very deep. So it goes up. And as a
Sure
rat,
was.
yeah, as a whiskey rat, I was always up there smoking cigarettes and buying beer when I was still in high school. Glad my
It was a
mom's not allowed
it
to
was
hear
a
that.
fun place to play. Plus, they gave us the greatest T-shirts.
Which I've got one for you also, by the way. So I'll
Oh,
send
cool!
it.
I'd
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and a hat. So, um, listen, you've been really generous with your time. I promise you, I will not miss your act this time. Please play this next May, and I'll catch your entire performance. You're such a talented guy. You're so humble, and at the end of the day, you're a rocker. I know you like blues, but you know what? You got a rocking background, and
I'll tell you
uh,
the reason why I feel like I come from that particular cut is because when I went to see Freddie King, he played so aggressively and so, well, I guess you could say loud. They really
yeah,
were powerful. He, oh man, just powerful. And I always felt like that's the way blues should be approached. Just me,
yeah, yeah.
And then of course I started hearing Eric Clapton, and you kind of go, I love that.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
the guys played with great tone, great feel. Their vibrato meant something. It was just seeing Freddie King just really, it just blew me away.
yeah, there was nothing like him. He was amazing. Just amazing.
Well, the way he smiled and just kicked
Yeah.
your ass, you know.
I was at one of his concerts and literally, and I felt like I was getting baptized. He was sweating like a dog and
Yeah.
it was flying and I'm there in the front row. I can't remember where I saw him. Might have been the Santa Monica Civic, but just, drenched. Same thing with Chuck Berry, just got covered by Chuck Berry. Um, Listen, I'd like to consider you a friend. I'd like to have you on next time that you perhaps when you've released this album. Maybe we'll catch a little bit of an interview there at the show next year.
Yeah.
Um, Please feel free to reach out to me at any time. This has really been an enjoyable interview. Thank you.